Based on a 1986 novel of the same name, The Bay of Silence is a thriller about a couple and their new son. The principal couple are Rosalind and her husband Will, who opened the movie with romantic scenes in Liguria, Italy. One day, Rosalind and her nanny disappear with Rosalind's two 8-year-old girls and Will and Rosalind's newborn son, Amadeo. This leads to a frantic search and a frightening discovery. Will must confront constant twists and a protective stepfather to learn the full truth. Eventually, Will finds her in Normandy, but little Amadeo is dead. He buries the child, determined to leave the police out of the situation in order to protect his wife. This movie is a thriller that is too convoluted to thrill, aiming to be a mystery thriller in the vein of Hitchcock, but it never achieves that lofty goal. The story all sounds better on paper than it is on film because there are too many threads to follow, which doesn't add up to mystery, only to confusion. The biggest issue is just how telegraphed the trajectory of the story is. It's clear that Rosalind is troubled and not coping well following a certain accident at the beginning of the movie, and it's clear that there are terrible people covering up some horrific things. But the mystery aspect of that never engages. On top of that, there are some wild interconnected developments, including things such as blackmail that come out of nowhere, just as how preposterously stupid the situation is set up. The story could have been updated to portray mental health issues in a better light as well. Unfortunately, this movie uses them only as a plot device. It is poorly executed and in today's world comes off as tone deaf. The plot becomes convoluted pretty quickly. The writing is muddled, and with the exception of Will, there is little character development. Looking terrified or crazy doesn't necessarily make one so. They have the most basic personality traits translated from the novel to the screen, barely registering as anyone interesting. Olga Kurylenko as Rosalind plays her role well, although again, the script calls on her primarily to show different emotions without the necessary motivations. Her character development is woefully underwritten, and she is not as experienced as either Bang or Cox to find enough subtext on her own. When it's time to be revealed who has really been orchestrating things, it doesn't come with a shock. There is also no satisfactory conclusion, considering that aside from empathizing with Will's devastating loss and gut feeling that something is not right about the circumstances of his dead son, the characters here are bare bones and hard to care about. The mystery itself is just there and never really exciting, which is a cinematic crime considering the lengths the story is going to create these questions in the first place. Never mind the lethargic pacing that unspools revelations that are too predictable to be effectively disturbing. Overall, this movie is simply a misguided adaptation that loses the plot of shining a light on the story of a survivor and how abuse gets swept under the rug.